Okay. Good evening there, folks. How we doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you, Dr. Cruz?
Oh, I'm okay. But I'm not a doctor. I just play one. Actually, doctor refers to the level of education you have. So there's no name for what I have. I have a master's degree. I don't have a PhD, which you need to be called a doctor. I appreciate the flattery, but
Oh, well, you're welcome. I'm so used to saying doctor to all my other instructors.
yeah, it's just a technicality. I just like to say it just because I don't want it to seem like I asking people to call me that, because I just
I
ask
get
people to
it. I get it.
just call me when you need me. That's all.
That's right. Well, how are you doing today, though?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. Always good to hear.
Yeah. All right. So today is kind of a special day. I got it here somewhere. All right. I guess I didn't bring it up on this computer. All right. Anyway, some of you may have noticed in the Alex 020. I know people don't spend as much time over there. But in 1 week, oops, and let me share. In 1 week, all right, we have the final exam. Wait a second. This is, I should say 020. The final exam for 020. Now, don't get too worked up about it because we really have been preparing for this, because this test or this exam, the last exam or test that we have in 020, is on the first three chapters, 2, 3, and 10. So the test that we just got finished, that's the material where it ends on chapter 10. The chapter 11, which we will start tonight in in 120, is not going to be on the 020 exam. All right. You also have in your 120 course, it opened up yesterday, and it's like a little take home test. You get a couple of attempts on it. You can take it whenever you're ready during the time that it's available, and it will be available until the time class starts on Thursday. Okay. Any questions?
No.
All right. So what I think I want you to do, because there's no really I'll tell you what. I'm going to show you where it's at, just in case you don't see it. But in Alex, in Alex, all right. You should see this, and you have to go in your assignments. Let's see if I can do it as a student, so you see a little bit better. All right, so student view. All right. So if you go to assignments, see this right here? That's the rascal right there. It's not really terribly long. It's about 12 questions. I have the same class face to face in the morning on Tuesday, Thursday, and I mean, most people were able to go through it twice within that time frame, just one class period. So you can, what I would just suggest doing is going through it as you got questions, ask, and then I'll try to fill in the blanks. You can, because I know what the problems are. So you could just say, well, I'm having trouble about this thing right here. And this is one that students had a lot of questions about, and they had a lot of questions about it way back in chapter 2 as well. But remember, all right, see this little symbol here? And this symbol? All right. What is it? Does anybody remember what that means? What does that mean? Looks like a little pitchfork. Hard to draw. Let me see if I can draw it a little bit better, see if that helps you. Because it's all right. So this right here means is an element. Remember that? So therefore, on something like B, well, let's tell you what. Let's go down to P, to C. All right. On C, we've got this one right here. And it says P is an element of that set, and it's got a P and a V in it. All right. Up here, this right here, this part right there, when we put it in the bracket, the curly brackets like that, that makes it into a set, and therefore that element sign doesn't apply. So the other symbol, what? Hold on. My computer, my laptop decides it's going to update right in the middle of things. So hold on. So the other symbol, the one that looks like a C with a line underneath it, that's the one that means is a subset. All right. And I'll be back on with that in a minute. Let's see if I can. I'll tell you what. Well, that one's rebooting. I'll come over here to this one. That is weird. I've never seen it do that. Usually it asks. All right. So what I would just suggest is use this time to work on it so that if you got any questions, you can just blurt them out and tell me what you're struggling with, and then I can come to it. But I can easily go to, give you an illustration or some kind of help for any of the problems. All right. Because you want to go through that and see how you do first pass, then you can go back and review it. And I'll just tell you some good news here. For the 020 last semester, I had like 60 students, like 2 classes the size of you folks. And I had all but like a handful of people pass that 020 exam. So I think the structure of this class is geared towards making sure you're going to do that, because chapter 11 is coming and we'll be getting that, but you're not giving it your full attention until 1 week when you finish that exam. Because then when you do that, then we go to chapter 11 and then we go back. And since we've just reviewed chapter 10, then that's going to make it easier for you to kind of recollect the material. Because you want to do as good or as well as you can on that final exam in the Math 120. Because remember, that's the credit-bearing class. All right? This one, it's a good idea to pass it. And if you pass it, then if you have to repeat the 120 part, then you don't need to take this part. You won't have to take it. So do your best on that O2O exam. And like I said, the exams in general, because there's a basis for them. Anyway, anybody got any questions? Like I said, so your assignment today, and I can't write it up there for a couple more minutes. It's coming back on now 100%. So just work on that review. And as you got questions, I can present stuff in that window for you. So no questions? Y'all usually got plenty of stuff. Y'all can't hear me, can't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Okay. I usually can tell because I can hear it. I got two computers, and usually I got three, just so if one goes down like this, I can still talk. And then I got two I can do visuals on. That's coming back. Windows stuff is just slow. So are y'all finding that review? Go into assignments in Alex, or you can actually go in through Canvas and click on it in the assignment list. All right, here we're coming back on. But that was one of the big questions that I had from students, was the difference between that little pitchfork sign and the subset sign. And then there's also the proper subset sign without the line underneath it. And that just means that equality is not a factor when you're dealing with a proper subset. And so with the number of subsets, there's one less than there is of regular subsets. All right. All right, let's see if I can get back in here. Yeah, here we are. Oh, I got to start back the session in this computer. All right, so as I said is, and I'll write it up here, that little symbol right there means is a subset. Is an element. What the hell? And then this one is a subset. And then the one without the line underneath it, it looks just like the kicked over U, means it is a proper subset. Okay. All right. So that should help you on that one, because like I said, yes, my other students had a lot of questions about that. Let's see if I can go through. Oh, wait a minute. Since we're talking about subsets and stuff, let's go back to that one. So over here, this was the formula to and I'm going to come back and edit that in a second. Because I got to write in the little power. All right, so 2 to the nth power, and n is just the number of elements in the set. And for proper subsets, you got to subtract 1 because you're throwing out the one that's equal. All right. See what else I can find to tell you about. I know that people are going to have questions about the truth tables, but I want to just bring up the things that I think people were struggling with the most. And those were the main ones. And see how it stops at the last thing that we looked at in chapter 10 with this thing where you had the probability from the chart. You had the probability of one thing, the sport. You had the probability of male in sport, and then you had the probability of male given sport. In other words, the conditional probability. So just remember about this first thing where it's talking about well-defined set. If it mentions something like worst or best, or and you can see those words in here, because this is talking about a bike race, and there was 80 riders, and the competition kept track of everybody that was in the race, what place they did, whether they dropped out or not. Everybody that was in the race, they recorded their time or did not finish. So I was trying to look. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's one that's weird. I don't say it's weird, but I'm surprised, but there's not. See something like that where it talks about the best looking uniforms, riders with the best looking uniforms. That's something that would not be able to be determined from a race list, a roster, because that's a value judgment. All the rest of these, The set of riders who started but did not finish, that's the DNF. The set of riders who started and finished the race, American riders, yes. They keep track of their nationality. It says up there. And
Hey, Mr. Cruz,
mhm.
on my review for that question, there's one of them that like I think it might just be the wording, but it was confusing me a little bit.
Why
Um,
don't you read it out to me?
so the question is on Friday nights, a television network airs 4 dramas and 3 sitcoms on a fixed schedule.
Okay,
These 7
right.
shows are the network's Friday night lineup. The network
Mhm.
conducted a study that determined how many people watched these shows among 3 groups, women, men, and overall, and for each group, the 7 shows were identified as either a drama, a sitcom, or ordered from most watched to least watch.
Okay.
And then the question that was like, just the wording was throwing me off a little bit.
Uh-huh.
The set of the 2 least watched shows overall in the Friday night lineup.
Okay.
If they're only looking at sitcoms and dramas, does that mean that's not a well-defined set? Or does that mean,
Okay. Yeah, this is they're keeping track of this. It's what they would call ratings. They can find out, which group of people watch this. They know the order in which they're presented. And so the 2 least watched shows would be the ones. How was that? Go back up to the top and read. There was something in there that you said that they kept an order of how many watched, right?
yeah,
The
they determined how many people watched these shows among 3 groups, women, men, and overall.
exactly, and overall, all right. So they could easily take the set of the 2 least watched shows by looking at the overall viewership, and the ones at the bottom would be the 2 least watched. Does
Okay,
that make sense?
yeah, that does. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, does any of y'all folks have face-to-face classes at Delgado? Just keep a watch out before you go out tomorrow, because if you have to go to the campus, they may cancel class. I'm not saying that they will, but just keep an watch out. And if you don't have the what do you call it? The Delgado, I think it's called alerts here. Let me erase this stuff. I wanted to keep it up there, but I can put it back. I was trying to find a way to copy it, and so I could put it back on there. But so, auto, I think it's called alerts. So if you go to this page, which is just student services and alert, you can sign up and they will send you a text and an email. And I get 3 of them. I get one to my work account, I get one to my personal email, and then I get a text. So that way, if I'm headed to school and something happens, then that way I can turn around without having to waste all my time. And the reason why I brought it up is that the North Shore Technical Community College is going to be closed, which is over in Lacombe. So to me, that might be a sign to look out. So keep a watch out. But you can click on that and register. Well, you got to log in. I don't know how to do all that. But anyway, See, mine's already on here. But if you do that, then it allows you to put all in there. And like I said, it'll make your life easier because you will know when they make that decision. And oftentimes it will save you a trip. But the main thing to keep in mind with these is those things like best looking, um, prettiest, most, best prizes, that type of thing. Anything that's not measurable, because they give us a list up here of what they measure. They measure who's in the race, what country they're from, when they finished. And so from that, they can easily find out all of these except this one. Best looking uniforms is not something that they keep track of. So all of these would be well-defined sets, except for this one. All right. So the good thing about this problem is it's really the same procedure no matter which one you do. One gives you the set A and asks you to find the complement. Part B gives you the complement of the set and asks you to find the original set. And so what you do in each case is you're using the universal set there to make that determination. Mhm. All right, y'all doing okay?
Making it by.
Yes.
All right. Like I said, just shoot when you got a question because I don't mind giving you a push on these. Because we had the midterm to kind of help us remember it because we're going to need it for the final exam, not just for this class, but for the 120. So it's been a couple of, it's been almost a month since the midterm and close to 3 months since classes started. So it's easy to forget.
Mr. Cruz, you still here?
Yep, I'm here. What's up?
I just didn't hear anything. I thought
Well,
my
I'm just talking. If y'all have a question, I'll give you a little bit of time to work. As y'all get
okay.
into it and have questions, just ask. Okay, I'll be glad
Okay.
to guide you through stuff.
32.
Hey, look who's here.
Mr. Cruz, I'm sorry. Like,
All right, so let me refer because I know I don't think anybody else has come in, but all right. So in the 020 syllabus, we have the final exam in 1 week on the chapters 2, 3, and 10. And Alex, there is a review. All right. That's what I got open here. See that?
yeah, oh my gosh. I had a panic attack. 1 week?
Yeah, 1 week. But it's, look, your professor's got your back here because this is all well designed. This is up through the material that you were just tested on in chapter 10. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the only 3 chapters on the O2 exam. And it's kind of a light version. So it's not it's going to be as detailed as you would see in the Math 120 class, but it's kind of a light exam for the first 3 chapters. And so next week we're done with the O20 doing anything else except preparing for the Math 120 exam. And in the Math 120 class, see, well, you got that little take home thing to finish out chapter 10. And then today we're starting chapter 11, the last chapter and last test. And then that gets thrown in with the 1 through 2, 3, and 10 chapters for the final exam in 120. So go over there, like I said, is if you go in and you click on assignments, see, right there. It's only 12 questions, and that's the same kind of length you can expect on the exam. So not so bad. Last semester, I had about 60 students. I had 2 classes like this, and I had about all but like a handful of people pass this. So it's as well designed to get you prepared. All right. So don't stress out about it. Just get in there and work that and tell me what kind of questions you got. If something like just freaks you out, just say, hey, what about this?
Hey, Mr. Cruz, I know that it's a
Yes.
permutation question or a combination question, but for the question type 10, can you go over how to do that again? Where it's like there are 2 sizes, 2 flavors, and 3 toppings to choose from?
Oh, okay. See, that is what we call the counting principle or the multiplication principle. And that's the basis for permutations and combinations. All right. Let's see if I can find a something up here. So the formula, I think the way Let me see a formula. Because there's not, it's almost like there is no formula because you're just multiplying. And you know what? I got it in my notes. We'll just look at it over there. All right. So the counting principle, it just basically looks like this. And like I said, it's not much of a formula. But you got a B, I'm sorry, an M and an N, and that can be any two groups. All right. And when you put them together, when you combine them together, you have M times N distinct ways. Okay, so just introduction to it. So when we talked about that couch scenario, so back in when we did this, I went through this example. If you got a couch and it's got two different upholstery finishes, leather or micro suede, and then you can have 4 different colors. Well, that's the 2 finish types multiplied times the number of colors. So that means there's 8 distinct ways. So over here,
recording in progress.
the number of different set of furniture sets, 2 times 2 times 2, which is equal to 8. And that's all there is to it. And that is the basis for all the other counting principles, the permutations and combinations.
Okay, I think I was overcomplicating it in my head.
Yeah, it's. Oh, we run out of time already. Let's go back over there and go in it if I need to. What's up? Somebody got a question? So this is what this was. This was counting principle. 2 times 3. And when we multiply those, we get 12 outcomes. So believe it or not, you're using that a lot when you're calculating probabilities because the counting principle is the basis for the permutations and the combinations.